will wait. You're one who think it ain't. If you think we'll work by strings, like the Japanese marionettes, you don't understand these things. It is simply called a cat. Perhaps the force is strong, can't keep it up all day long. If that's your idea, you're wrong. Oh, if that's your idea, you're wrong. If you want to hold it on, we are never not your hand. On swing, and on, then you, 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 oh, I pray you tell me when a gentle maiden dwelleth named Yum Yum, the word of Coco, in pity speak, oh speak I pray you. Why you who ask this question? Come, gather round me, and I'll tell you. A wandering minstrel I, a thing of shreds and patches, of ballad songs and snatches, and dreamy lullaby. My cattle walk is long through every passion arranging, and to your humours changing, I tune my soul's song. I tune my song. Are you in sentimental mood? I'll song with you. Oh, sorrow, on a maiden's coldness do you brood. I'll do so too. My cheeks beat you. Oh, sorrow, sorrow. But if patriotic sentiment is wanted, my patriotic ballads cut and dry. For wherever a country's banner may be planted, all other local banners are defied. Our warriors in serried ranks assembled, never quake, for they concede it if they do. And they shouldn't be supplied if nations tremble before the mighty troops, the troops of Titipu. A
And what may be your business with Yum Yum?
I'll tell you. A year ago, I was a member of the Titipu Town Band. It was my duty to take the cap round for contributions. While discharging this delicate office, I saw Yum Yum. We loved each other at once. But she was betrothed to her guardian, Coco, a cheap tailor, and I saw that my suit was hopeless. Overwhelmed with despair, I quitted the town. Judge of my delight, when I heard a month ago that Coco had been condemned to death for flirting, I hurried back at once in the hope of finding Yum Yum at liberty to listen to my protestations.
It is true that Coco was condemned to death for flirting, but he was reprieved at the last moment and raised to the exalted rank of Lord High Executioner under the following remarkable circumstances. A great Mikado, virtuous man, when he to rule our land began, resolved to try a plan whereby young men might best be steadied. So he decreed in words succinct that all who flirted, leered or winked, unless connubially linked, should forthwith be beheaded, 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 should forthwith be beheaded. I expect you'll all agree that he was right to so decree. And I am right, and you are right, and all is right as right can be. And you are right, and we are right, and all is right as right can be. And all is right as right can be. Right as right can be. This stern decree, you'll understand, caused great dismay throughout the land, for young and old and shy and bold were equally affected. The youth who winked a roving eye, or breathed a non-connubial sigh, was thereupon condemned to die. He usually objected, objected, objected. He usually objected. And you'll allow, as I expect, that he was right to so object. And I am right, and you are right, and everything is quite correct. And you are right, and we are right, and everything is quite correct. And everything is quite correct. All is quite correct. We straight let out on bail a convict from the county jail, whose head was next on some pretext condemned to be mown off, and made him headsman, for we said, who's next to be decapitated cannot cut off another's head until he's cut his own off, his own off, his own, until he's cut his own off. We are right, I think you'll say, to argue in this kind of way. And I am right, and you are right, and all is right to lure allay. You are right, and we are right, and all is right to lure allay. And I am right, and you are right, and all is right.
Coco, the cheap tailor, Lord High Executioner of Titipu? Why, that's the highest rank a citizen can attain.
It is. Our logical Mikado, seeing no moral difference between the dignified judge who condemns a criminal to die and the industrious mechanic who carries out the sentence, has rolled the two offices into one, and every judge is now his own executioner.
But how good of you, for I see that you are a nobleman of the highest rank, to condescend to tell all this to me, a mere strolling minstrel.
Don't mention it. I am, in point of fact, a particularly haughty and exclusive person of a pre-Adamite ancestral descent. You will understand this when I tell you that I can trace my ancestry back to a protoplasmal, primordial atomic globule. Consequently, my family pride is something inconceivable. I can't help it. I was born sneering. but I struggle hard to overcome this defect. I mortify my pride continually. When all the great officers of state resigned in a body because they were too proud to serve under an ex-tailor, did I not unhesitatingly accept all their posts at once?
And the salaries attached to them? You did.
It is consequently my degrading duty to serve this upstart as First Lord of the Treasury, Lord Chief Justice, Commander-in-Chief, Lord High Admiral, Master of the Buckhounds, Groom of the Backstairs, Archbishop of Titipu, and Lord Mayor, both acting and elect, all rolled into one, and at a salary, a pooh-bah paid for his services. Aye, a salaried minion. But I do it revolts me, but I do it.
And it does you credit.
But I don't stop at that. I go and dine with middle-class people on reasonable terms. I dance at cheap suburban parties for a moderate fee. I accept refreshment at any hands, however lowly. I also retail state secrets at a very low figure. For instance, any further information about Yum Yum would come under the head of a state secret. Another insult, and I think a light one. Young man to spare, likewise go to Yum Yum the fair. You must not do, it will not do. I'm sorry for you, you very imperfect ablutioner. This very day from to Yum Yum we'll went away and homeward come, with a beat of drum and a rum-tum-tum, to wed the Lord High Executioner. And the brass will crash, and the trumpet play, and they'll cut a dash on their wedding day. She'll topple away as all have her, with the Lord High Executioner. And the brass will crash, and the trumpet play, and they'll cut a dash on their wedding day. She'll topple away as all have her, with the Lord High Executioner. It's a hopeless case, as you may see, and in your place away I'd flee. But don't blame me, I'm sorry to be of your pleasure a diminutioner. They'll bow their pact extremely soon. In point of fact, this afternoon, a honeymoon with that buffoon at 7 commences, so you shall have. And the brass will clash, and the trumpet bray, and they'll cut a dash on their wedding day. She'll topple away as all have her, with the Lord High Executioner. And the brass will crash, and the trumpet bray, and they'll cut a dash on their wedding day. She'll topple away as all have her, with the Lord High Executioner.
And have I journeyed for a month or nearly to learn that Yum Yum, whom I love so dearly, this day to Coco is to be united.
The fact appears to be as you've recited. But here he comes, equipped as you
his station. He'll give you any further information.
From a county jail by a set of curious chances, liberated then on bail, on me own recognizances, wafted by a favouring gale, as one sometimes is in trances, to a height that few can scale, saved by long and weary dances, surely never had a mail, under such like circumstances, so adventurous a tale, which may rank with most romances, taken from a county jail, by a set of curious chances, surely never had a mail, so adventurous a tale. I am much touched by this reception. I can only trust that by strict attention to duty, I shall ensure a continuance of those favours which it will ever be my study to deserve. If I should ever be called upon to act professionally, I am happy to think that there will be no difficulty in finding plenty of people whose loss will be a distinct gain to society at large. As someday it may happen that a victim must be found, I've got a little list of society offenders who might well be underground and who never would be missed, There's the pestilential nuisances who write for autographs, all people who have flabby hands and irritating laughs, all children who are up in dates and floor you with a flat, all people who in shaking hands shake hands with you like that, and all third persons who on spoiling tete-a-tetes insist. They'd none of them be missed. They'd none of them be missed.
He's not on the list. He's not on the list. And they're none of them be missed. They're none of them be missed.
There's the banjo serenader and the others of his race, and the piano organist, I've got him on the list, and the people who eat peppermint and puff it in your face, they never would be missed, they never would be missed. Then the idiot who praises with enthusiastic tone all centuries but this and every country but his own, and the lady from the provinces who dresses like a guy, and who doesn't think she dances but rather like to try, and that singular anomaly, the lady novelist, well, I don't think she'd be missed, I'm sure she'd not be missed.
He's got her on the list, he's got her on the list, and I don't think she'll be missed, I'm sure she'll not be missed.
And that nice high-priced nuisance who just now is rather rife, the judicial humorist, I got him on the list. All funny fellas, comic men and clowns of private life, they'd none of them be missed, they'd none of them be missed. And apologetic statesmen of a compromising kind, such as what you call him, Thingumbob, and likewise, oh, well, never mind. And Tut-Tut-Tut and what's his name? And also, Well, you know who. The task of filling up the blanks I'd rather leave to you, but it really doesn't matter whom you put upon the list, for they'd none of them be missed, they'd none of them be missed.
You may put them on the list, you may put them on the list, and they'll none of them be missed, they'll none of them be missed.
Pooh-Bah! It seems that the festivities in connection with my approaching marriage must last a week. I should like to do it handsomely, and I want to consult you as to the amount I ought to spend upon them.
Certainly, in which of my capacities? As the First Lord of the Treasury, Lord Chamberlain, Attorney General, Chancellor of the Exchequer, a Privy Purse, or Private Secretary?
Suppose we say as Private Secretary.
Speaking as your Private Secretary, I should say that... as the city will have to pay for it, don't stint yourself. Do it well.
Exactly. As the city will have to pay for it, that is your advice.
As Private Secretary. Of course, you will understand that as Chancellor of the Exchequer, I am bound to see that due economy is observed.
Oh, but you said just now, don't stint yourself. Do it well.
As Private Secretary.
And now you say that due economy must be observed.
As the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
I see. Come over here where the Chancellor can't hear us. Now then, as my solicitor, how do you advise me to deal with this difficulty?
Well, as your solicitor, I should have no hesitation in saying, chance it.
Oh, thank you, I will.
If it were not that as Lord Chief Justice, I am bound to see that the law isn't violated.
I see. Come over here where the Chief Justice can't hear us. Now then, as First Lord of the Treasury.
Of course, as First Lord of the Treasury, I could propose a special vote that would cover all expenses. If it were not that as leader of the opposition, it would be my duty to resist it tooth and nail. Or as Paymaster General, I could so cook the accounts that as Lord High Auditor I should never discover the fraud. But then, as Archbishop of Titipu, it would be my duty to denounce my dishonesty and give myself into my own custody as First Commissioner of Police.
That's extremely awkward.
I don't say that all these distinguished people couldn't be squared. But it is right to tell you that they wouldn't be sufficiently degraded in their own estimation unless they are insulted with a very considerable bribe.
The matter shall have my careful consideration. With my bride and her sisters approach, and any little compliment on your part, such as an abject grovel in the characteristic Japanese attitude, would be esteemed a favor.
No money, no grovel.
Italy,
none. Life is a joke that's just begun. We little maids from school, we little maids so all unwary, come from the ladies' seminary, fit from genius tutelary. We little maids from school, we little maids from school. One little maid is a bride young young, two little maids in attendance come, three little maids is the total sum. Three little maids from school. From three little maids take one away, two little maids remain and they won't have to wait very long, they say. Three little maids from school, three little maids from school, three little maids who all unwary come from a ladies' seminary, free from a genius tutelary. Three little maids from school, three little maids from school.
At last, my bride that is to be.
You're not going to kiss me before all these people.
Well, that was the idea.
It seems odd, don't it?
It is rather peculiar. Oh, I expect it's all right.
It must have a beginning, you know. Well, of course, I know nothing about these things, but I've no objection if it's usual.
Oh, it's quite usual, I think. Lord Chamberlain?
I have known it done.
Thank goodness that's over.
It's never you. Oh, it's like it would. We've been to school and we're not going back anymore.
I beg your pardon, will you present me?
Oh, yes, certainly.
One at a time, if you please.
If you please, he's the gentleman who used to play so beautifully on the Marine Parade. Yes, I think that was the name of the instrument.
Sir, I have the misfortune to love your ward Yum Yum.
Yum Yum?
I know I deserve your anger.
Anger? Not a bit, my boy. Why, I love her myself. Charming little girl, isn't she? Pretty eyes, nice hair, taking little thing altogether. Very glad to hear my opinion backed by a competent authority. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Take him away.
Oh! I beg your pardon, but what is this? Customer come to try on.
That is a tremendous swell.
Oh! It's alive.
Go away, little girls. I can't talk to little girls like you. Go away, there's dears.
Allow me to present you, Pooh-Bah. These are my 3 wards. The one in the middle is my bride-elect.
What do you want me to do to them? Mind, I will not kiss them.
Oh, no, you shan't kiss them. A little bow, and they're nothing. You needn't mean it, you know.
It goes against the grain. They are not young ladies, they are young persons.
Oh, come, make an effort. There's a good nobleman.
Well, I shan't mean it. How do, little girls, how do? Oh, my protoplasmal ancestor.
That's very good.
I see nothing to laugh at. It is very painful to me to have to say how to do, little girls, how to do to young persons. I am not in the habit of saying how to do, little girls, how to do to anybody under the rank of a stockbroker.
Don't laugh at him. He can't help it.
So there's very much regret if we have made in etiquette. To watermen of rank so high we shall know better by and by. But youth, of course, must have its fling, so pardon us, and duty girlhood's happy spring. Be hard on us, if we're inclined to dance and to sing ta-la-la-la-la-la. But youth, of course, must have its fling, so pardon us, in duty girlhood's happy spring. Be hard on us, but youth, of course, must have its fling, so pardon us.
think you ought to recollect. You cannot show too much respect towards highly titled few, but nobody does, and why should you? That I should have its fling is hard on us, to our prerogative we cling, so pardon us, if we decline to dance and sing tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la.
Must have its fling, so pardon us, and dance it good, must have its fling before the
Yum Yum, at last we're alone. I have sought you night and day in the belief that your guardian was beheaded, and I find her about to be married to him this afternoon.
Alas, yes.
But you do not love him.
Alas, no.
Modified rapture. But why do you not refuse him?
What good would that do? He's my guardian, and he wouldn't let me marry you.
I would wait until you were of age.
You forget that in Japan, girls do not arrive at years of discretion until they are 50.
True. From 17 to 49 are considered years of indiscretion.
Besides, a wandering minstrel who plays a wind instrument outside tea houses is hardly a fitting husband for the ward of a Lord High Executioner.
What if it should prove that, after all, I am no musician?
There, I was certain of it directly I heard you play.
What if it should prove that I am no other than the son of His Majesty the Mikado?
The son of the Mikado? But why is your Highness disguised? And what has your Highness done? And will your Highness promise never to do it again?
Some years ago, I had the misfortune to captivate Katisha, an elderly lady of my father's court. She misconstrued my customary affability into expressions of affection and claimed me in marriage under my father's law. My father, the Lucius Junius Brutus of his race, ordered me to marry her within a week or perish ignominiously on the scaffold. That night, I fled his court, and assuming the disguise of a second trombone, I joined the band in which you found me, when I had the happiness of seeing you.
If you please, I think your Highness had better not come too near. The laws against flirting are excessively severe.
But we're quite alone, and nobody can see us.
Still, that don't make it right. To flirt is capital.
It is capital.
And we must obey the law.
Just take the law.
I wish it would, but it won't.
If it were not for that, how happy we might be.
Happy indeed.
If it were not for the law, we should now be sitting side by side, like that.
Instead of being obliged to sit half a mile off, like that.
We should be gazing into each other's eyes, like that.
Breathing sighs of unutterable love. Oh, like that.
With our arms round each other's waists, like that.
Yes, if it wasn't for the law.
Oh, if it wasn't for the law.
As it is, of course. We couldn't do anything of the kind.
Not for worlds.
Being engaged to Coco, you know.
Being engaged to Coco.
Were you not to Coco plighted, I would say in tender tone, love one, let us be united, let us be alone. I would merge all rank and station, worldly sphere not to us, and to mark my admiration, I would kiss you fondly thus. I would kiss you fondly thus.
cocoa, to embrace you thus confoco, would distinctly be no joco, and for yam I should get toko.
Toko,
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 toko. So in spite of all temptation, such a theme I'll not discuss, and on no consideration will I kiss you fondly thus. Will I kiss you fondly thus? Let me make it clear to you, this is what I'll never do. This or this, or this, or this. This is what I'll never, never do. This or this, or this, or this. This is what I'll never do.
He'll never do.
I'll never do.
He'll never do.
For this, this is what I'll never, never do.
There she goes. To think how entirely my future happiness is wrapped up in that little parcel. Really, it hardly seems worthwhile. Oh, matrimony. Oh, matrimony. Now then, what is it? Can't you see I'm soliloquizing? You have interrupted an apostrophe, sir. Oh.
I am the bearer of a letter from His Majesty the Mikado.
A letter from the Mikado? What in the world can he have to say to me? Take a seat. Oh, here it is at last. I thought it would come sooner or later. The Mikado is struck by the fact that no executions have taken place in Titipu for a year, and decrees that unless someone is beheaded within 1 month, the post of Lord High Executioner shall be abolished, and the city reduced to the rank of a village.
But that would involve us all in irretrievable ruin.
Yes, there is no help for it. I shall have to execute somebody at once. The only question is, who shall it be?
Well, it seems unkind to say so, but as you're already under sentence of death for flirting, everything seems to point to you.
To me? What are you talking about? I can't execute myself.
Why not?
Why not? Because in the first place, self-decapitation is an extremely difficult, not to say dangerous thing to attempt. Then the second, it's suicide, and suicide is a capital offense.
That is so, no doubt.
We might reserve that point.
True, it could be argued 6 months hence before the full court.
Besides, I don't see how a man can cut off his own head.
A man might try.
Oh,
Even if you only succeeded in cutting it half off, that would be something.
It would be taken as an earnest of your desire to comply with the imperial will.
no. Pardon me, but there I'm adamant. As official headsman, my reputation is at stake, and I can't consent to embark upon a professional operation unless I see my way to a successful result.
This professional conscientiousness is highly creditable to you. But it places us in a very awkward position.
My good sir, the awkwardness of your position is grace itself, compared with that of a man engaged in the act of cutting off his own head.
I am afraid that unless you can obtain a substitute...
Oh, substitute. Oh, certainly. Nothing easier. Pooh-Bah! I appoint you Lord High Substitute.
I should be delighted. Such an appointment would realize my fondest dreams. But no, at any sacrifice, I must set bounds to my insatiable ambition. I am so proud if I allowed my family pride to be my guide. I'd volunteer to quit this sphere instead of you in a minute or two.
but family pride must be denied, and set aside, and mortified, and mortified.
My brain it teems with endless schemes of good and new for titty-poo, for titty-poo. But if I flit the benefit that I diffuse, the town would lose. Now every man to aid his clan should plot and plan as best he can.
I heard one day a gentleman say that criminals who are cut in two can hardly feel the fatal steel, and so are slain without much pain. If this is true, it's jolly for you, your courage screw to bid us adieu. I am so proud.
My brain it teems with endless schemes of good and new for titty-poo. If I flip the benefit that I diffuse, the town would lose. Now every man to aid his clan as best he can. And so, although I'm ready to go, yet recollect where disrespected I neglect to thus effect this aim direct. So I object.
And so, although I wish to go, and greatly find to brightly shine, and take the line of a hero fine, with grief undying I must decline. And go and show both friend and foe how much you dare. I'm quite aware it's your affair, yet I declare I take your share, but I don't much care. So I object. So I object. So I object. So I object. I object.
Sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock, in a pestilence and blizzard with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shot from a chippy chopper on a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock, in a pestilence and blizzard with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shot from a chippy chopper on a big black block. A dull, dark dock, a lifelong lock, a short, sharp shot, a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a pestilence and blizzard and awaiting the sensation of a chippy chopper on a big black. This is simply appalling. I'm now required to die within a month, and that by a man whom I have loaded with honors. Is this public gratitude? Is this... Go away, sir, how dare you? Am I never to be permitted to soliloquize?
Go on, don't mind me.
What are you going to do with that rope?
I'm about to terminate an unendurable existence.
Terminate your existence? Oh, nonsense. What for?
Because you're going to marry the girl I adore.
Oh, nonsense, sir. I won't permit it. I'm a humane man, and if you attempt anything of the kind, I shall order your instant arrest. Come, sir, desist at once, or I'll summon my guard.
That's absurd. If you attempt to raise an alarm, I instantly perform the happy dispatch with this dagger.
No, don't do that. Why, this is horrible. Are you cold-blooded scoundrel? Are you aware that in taking your life, you are committing a crime, which is substitute?
What's the matter?
Is it absolutely certain that you're resolved to die?
Absolutely.
Will nothing whatever shake your determination?
Nothing.
Threats, entreaties, prayers, all useless?
All my mind is made up.
And if you really mean what you say, and if you're absolutely resolved to die, and if nothing whatever will shake your determination, don't spoil yourself by committing suicide, but be beheaded handsomely at the hands of the public executioner.
But I don't see how that would benefit me.
You don't? Observe. You'll have a month to live. You'll live like a fighting cock at my expense. When the day comes, there'll be a grand public ceremonial. You'll be the central figure. No one will attempt to deprive you of that distinction. There'll be a procession, band, dead march, bells tolling, all the girls in tears, Yum-Yum distracted. And then when it's all over, general rejoicings and a display of fireworks in the evening. You won't see them, but they'll be there all the same.
Do you think Yum-Yum would really be distracted at my death?
I'm convinced of it. Bless you, she's the most tender-hearted little creature alive.
I should be sorry to cause her pain. And perhaps, after all, if I were to withdraw from Japan and travel in Europe for a couple of years, I might contrive to forget her.
I don't think you could forget Yum-Yum so easily. And after all, what is more miserable than a love-blighted life?
Oh, true.
Life without Yum-Yum. Why, it seems absurd.
And yet there are a good many people in the world who have to endure it.
Poor devils, yes. You are quite right not to be of their number.
I won't be of their number.
Noble fellow.
I'll tell you how we'll manage it. Let me marry Yum Yum tomorrow, and in a month you may behead me.
Oh, no, I draw the line at Yum Yum.
Very good. If you can draw the line, so can I.
Oh, but stop, listen for a moment. Be reasonable. How can I consent to your marrying Yum Yum when I'm going to marry her myself?
But my good friend, she'll be a widow in a month, and you can marry her then.
Oh, that's true, of course, I quite see that. But, dear me, my position during the next month will be most unpleasant, most unpleasant.
Not half so unpleasant as my position at the end of it.
Oh, but, dear me, well, I agree. After all, it's only putting off my wedding for a month. But you won't prejudice her against me, will you? You see, I've educated her to be my wife. She's been taught to regard me as a wise and good man. Now, I shouldn't like her views on that point disturbed.
Trust me, she shall never learn the truth from me.
What you mean to do, we punctually appear.
Congratulate me, gentlemen, I found a volunteer.
The Japanese equivalent of hell,
'Tis Nanky Poo.
Here's Nanky Poo.
I think he'll do.
Yes, he'll do.
He yields his life if I'll Yum Yum surrender. Now I adore that girl with passion tender, and could not yield her with a ready will, or her a lot, if I did not adore myself with passion tender still, with passion tender still.
Oh, yes, he loved himself with passion tender still.
Take her, she's yours.
The threatened cloud has passed away, but though the night may come too soon,
Then let her throng her joy advance with laughing song and merry dance.
then let the throng our joy advance with laughing song and merry dance, with laughing song and merry dance, with laughing song. With joyous shepherd, ringing in, with all your ringing of your ringing current, joyous shepherd,
A day, a week, a month, a year.
As eventide comes much too
To
soon,
live at least a honeymoon.
then let the throng her joy advance with laughing song and merry dance.
then let the throng our joy advance with laughing song and merry dance, with laughing song and merry dance, with laughing song. Say joyous, 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 ringing bell, with all your ringing of your ringing current, joyous, joyous, ringing bell, ringing
As in a month you've got to die, if Coco tells us true, 'twere empty compliment to cry long life to Nanky Poo. But as 1 month you have to live as fellow citizen. This toast with 3 times 3 will give long life, long life to you, long life to you, long life to you. Till then.
Your rebel cease! Assist me, all of you!
I will give good evil life and life on our festivities.
I claim my perjured lover, Nanky Poo! Oh, fool to shun delight that never died! Come back, oh shallow fool! Come back to joy! Ah, 'tis Katisha, the maid of whom I told you. No, you shall not go. These arms shall thus enfold you. O fool that fearst my hallowed joys, O blind that seest no equipoise, O rash that judgest from half the whole, O base that grudgest the lightest dole, unbind, O fool, O blind, give me my place, O rash, O base, thy heart unbind, give me my place, O fool, O blind, O rash, O base, thy heart unbind, give me my place.
In my life is no one place, O fool, O blind, O rash, O base.
The cheek that rulest where wisdom serves, bright eye that foolest heroic nerves, rose lip that's gone as low-laden years, smooth tongue that warnest who rightly hears. Thy doom is nigh, pink cheek, bright eye. Thy nail is rung, rose lip, smooth tongue. Thy doom is nigh, thy nail is rung, pink cheek, bright eye, rose lip, smooth tongue. Thy doom is nigh, thy nail is rung.
My nail is wrong, big cheek, bright eye, rose lip, smooth tongue.
Thy doom is nigh, thy nail, thy nail, is rung.
Away, no prosecute your quest from our intention well expressed. You cannot turn us. The state of your connubial views towards the person you accuse does not concern us. For he's going to marry Yum Yum. Your anger prepare for all will be very. I think you had better succumb and join our expressions of glee. On this subject I pray you be dumb. You'll find there are many who wait for a penny. The word for your guidance is mum. There's lots of good fish in the sea.
On this subject we pray you be dumb, dumb, dumb. We think you have better succumb, dumb, dumb. You'll find there are many who wait for a penny, who wait for a penny. The last of the fish in the sea.
perished, all has perished, save love, which never dies, which never, never dies. Oh, faithless one, this insult you shall rue. In vain for mercy, on your knees you'll sue. I'll tear the mask from your disguising. Now comes the blow. Prepare yourselves for new surprising. I'll foil my foe. No minstrel here, despite bravado. Ha-ha! I know he's the son of you. In vain you interrupt with his tornado. He is the only son of you.
Away you go, and let your heart protect
with dew. Try if you can cry, we will do so too. When your trumpet start, like a frightened roe, flutter, little heart, color, come and go. Honesty and marriage night will make a pretty bride. Modesty and marriage tide will become a pretty bride. Raise the raven, every song will dress. Deck the maiden, every lovely nest. Takes the pretty face, guide the coronet. Emphasize the grace of an heritage shape.
Yes, I am indeed beautiful. Sometimes I sit and wonder, in my artless Japanese way, why it is that I'm so much more attractive than anybody else in the whole world. Can this be vanity? No. Nature is lovely and rejoices in her loveliness. I am a child of nature and take after my mother.
The sun whose rays are all ablaze with ever-living glory does not deny his majesty. He scorns to tell a story. We don't exclaim, I blush for shame, so kindly indulgent. But fierce and bold in fiery gold, he glories all effulgent. I mean to rule the earth as he the sky. We really know
everything seems to smile upon me. I am to be married today to the man I love best, and I believe I'm the very happiest girl in Japan.
The happiest girl indeed. For she is indeed to be envied who has attained happiness in all but perfection.
In all but perfection?
Well, dear, it can't be denied that the fact that your husband is to be beheaded in a month is in its way a drawback. It does seem to take the top off it, you know.
I don't know about that. It all depends.
At all events, he will find it a drawback.
Not necessarily, bless you. It all depends. I think it very indelicate of you to refer to such a subject on such a day. If my married happiness is to be
cut short?
Well, cut short in a month. Can't you let me forget it?
Yum in tears? And on her wedding morn?
They've been reminding me that in a month you're to be beheaded. Yes, we've been reminding her that you're to be beheaded.
It's quite true, you know. You are to be beheaded.
How some bridegrooms will be depressed by this sort of thing. A month? Well, what's a month? These divisions of time are purely arbitrary. Who says 24 hours make a day?
There's a popular impression to that effect.
Then we'll efface it. We'll call each second a minute, each minute an hour, each hour a day, and each day a year. At that rate, we've about 30 years of married happiness before us.
And at that rate, this interview has already lasted 4 hours and 3/4.
Yes, how time flies when one is thoroughly enjoying oneself.
That's the way to look at it. Don't let's be downhearted. There's a silver lining to every cloud.
Certainly. Let's be perfectly happy.
By all means, let's thoroughly enjoy ourselves.
It's absurd to cry. Quite ridiculous.
Brightly dawns our wedding day.
Joyous are we, give thee greeting. We are heaven art thou fleeting. Fickle moment, prithee stay. Fickle moment, prithee stay. What no more joys be hollow.
Pleasures come if sorrows follow.
So the tocsin sound and long. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Ding dong, ding dong. Yet until the shadows fall over one and over all, sing a merry madrigal, sing a merry madrigal, fa la 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 la
Oh, go on. Don't mind me.
I'm afraid we're distressing you.
Never mind. I must get used to it. Only please do it by degrees. Begin by putting your arm around her waist. There. Let me get used to that first.
Would you like to retire? It must pain you to see us so affectionate together.
No, I must learn to bear it. Now oblige me by allowing her head to rest on your shoulder.
Like that.
Like that. I'm much obliged to you. Now kiss her. Thank you very much. It's simple torture.
Come, bear up. After all, it's only for a month.
No. It's no use deluding oneself with false hopes.
What do you mean?
My child, my poor child. How shall I break it to her? My little bride that was to have been.
Was to have been?
Yes. You never can be mine.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I've just ascertained that by the Mikado's law, when a married man is beheaded, his wife is buried alive.
Buried alive?
Buried alive. It's a most unpleasant death.
But who did you get that from?
Oh, from Pooh-Bah. He's my solicitor.
But he may be mistaken.
So I thought. So I consulted the Attorney General, the Lord Chief Justice, the Master of the Rolls, the Judge Jordan, and the Lord Chancellor. They're all of the same opinion. Never knew such unanimity on a point of law in my life.
But stop a bit. This law has never been put in force.
No, not yet. You see, flirting is the only crime punishable with decapitation, and married men never flirt.
Of course they don't. I quite forgot that. Well, I suppose I may take it that my dream of happiness is at an end.
Darling?
Yes? Oh.
I don't want to appear selfish, and I love you with all my heart. I don't suppose I shall ever love anyone else half as much. But when I agreed to marry you, my own, I had no idea that I should have to be buried alive in a month.
Nor I. It's the very first I've heard of it.
It makes a difference, don't it?
It does make a difference, of course.
You see, burial alive, it's such a stuffy death.
I call it a beast of a death.
You see my difficulty, don't you?
Yes, and I see my own. If I insist on not carrying out your promise, I doom you to a hideous death. And if I release you, you marry Coco at once.
Here's how they do, if I marry you. When your time has come to perish, then the maiden whom you cherish must be slaughtered too. Here's how they do, here's how they do.
Just pretty mess, in a month or less, I must die without a wedding, and the bitter tears I'm shedding witness my distress. Here's pretty mess, here's pretty mess.
Here's a state of things, to her life she clings. Matrimonial devotion doesn't seem to suit her notion, very ill it brings. Here's a state of things, here's a state of things. With a passion that takes I worship and adore, but the laws of common sense we ought to ignore. If what I say is true, 'tis death to marry you. Here's a pretty state of things, here's a pretty how we do. Here's a pretty state of things, a pretty state of things. Here's a how you do, here's a how you do. For if what I say is true, I cannot marry you. Here's a pretty, pretty state of things.
Here's a
Pretty. Howdy-do.
My poor boy, I'm really very sorry for you.
Thanks, old fellow. I'm sure you are.
You see, I'm quite helpless.
I quite see that.
I can't conceive anything more distressing than to have one's marriage broken off at the last moment. But you shan't be disappointed of a wedding. You shall come to mine.
Oh, that's awfully kind of you. But that's impossible.
Why so?
Today I die.
What do you mean?
I can't live without Yum Yum. This afternoon, I perform the Happy Dispatch.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Why not?
Why, hang it all. You're under contract to die by the hands of the public executioner in a month's time. If you kill yourself, what's to become of me? Why, I shall have to be executed in your place.
It would certainly seem so.
Now then, Lord Mayor, what is it?
The Mikado and his suite are approaching the city and will be here in 10 minutes.
The Mikado? He's coming to see whether his orders have been carried out. Now, look here, you know, this is getting serious. A bargain's a bargain, and you really mustn't frustrate the ends of justice by committing suicide. As a man of honor and a gentleman, you are bound to die ignominiously at the hands of the public executioner.
Very well, then. Behead me.
Oh, what now?
Certainly, at once.
Oh.
Chop it off, Coco, chop it off.
My good sir, I don't go about prepared to execute gentlemen at a moment's notice. Why, I never even killed a bluebottle.
Still, as Lord High Executioner...
My good sir, as Lord High Executioner, I've got to behead him in a month. I'm not ready yet. I don't know how it's done. I'm going to take lessons. I mean to begin with the guinea pig and work my way through the animal kingdom until I come to a second trombone. Why, you don't suppose as a humane man I'd have accepted the post of Lord High Executioner if I hadn't thought the duties were purely nominal. I can't kill you. I'm very sorry. I can't kill anything. I can't kill anybody.
Come, my poor fellow. We all have unpleasant duties to discharge at times. After all, what is it? If I don't mind, why should you? Remember, sooner or later, it must be done.
Must it? I'm not so sure about that.
What do you mean?
Why should I kill you when making an affidavit that you've been executed will do just as well? There are plenty of witnesses. The Lord Chief Justice, the Lord High Admiral, Commander-in-Chief, Secretary of State for the Home Department's First Lord of the Treasury, and Chief Commissioner of Police.
But where are they?
There they are. They'll all swear to it, won't you?
Am I to understand that all of us high officers of state are required to perjure ourselves to ensure your safety?
Why not? You'll be grossly insulted as usual.
Will the insult be cash down or at a date?
It will be a ready money transaction.
Well, it will be a useful discipline. Very good. Choose your fiction and I'll endorse it. Family pride. How do you like that, me buck?
But I tell you that life without Yum Yum will be...
Yum Yum, Yum Yum, bother Yum Yum. Here, Commissioner, go and fetch Yum Yum. Now take Yum Yum and marry Yum Yum. Only go away and never come back again. Ah, here she comes. Yum Yum, are you particularly busy?
Not particularly.
You've 5 minutes to spare?
Yes.
Then go along with His Grace the Archbishop of Titipu, and he'll marry you at once.
But if I'm to be buried alive...
Don't ask any questions, but do as I tell you, and Nanki-Poo will explain all.
But one moment!
Not for worlds. Here comes the Mikado, no doubt to ascertain whether I've obeyed his decree. And if he finds you alive, I shall have the greatest difficulty in persuading him that I've beheaded you. Close thing that, for here he comes.
Kind of way I govern each tribe and sect, or cheerfully own my sway.
Except his daughter-in-law elect, tough as a bone, with a will of her own, is his daughter-in-law elect.
My nature is love and light, my freedom from all defect.
He's insignificant, quite compared with his daughter-in-law elect. Bow, bow to his daughter-in-law elect.
Bow, bow to his daughter-in-law elect. A more humane Mikado never did in Japan exist. To nobody's second, I'm certainly reckoned a true philanthropist. It is my very humane endeavor to make to some extent each evil liver the running river of harmless merriment. My object all sublime, I shall achieve in time, to let the punishment fit the crime, the punishment fit the crime, and make its prisoner pent, unwillingly represent a source of innocent merriment, of innocent merriment. All the prosy, dull society sinners who chatter and bleat and bore are sent to hear sermons of mystical Germans who preach from 10 till 4. The amateur tenor whose vocal villain is all desire to shirk shall during off hours exhibit his powers to Madame Tussauds waxwork. The lady who dyes a chemical yellow or stains her grey hair puce or pinches her figure is painted with vigor and a permanent walnut juice. The idiot who in railway carriages scribbles on window panes. We only suffer to ride on a buffer in a parliamentary train. My object all sublime, I shall achieve in time, to let the punishment fit the crime, the punishment fit the crime, and make its prisoner pent, unwillingly represent a source of innocent merriment, of innocent merriment. His object all sublime, he will achieve in time, to let the punishment fit the crime, the punishment fit the crime. Advertising quack who wearies with tales of countless cures. His teeth have enacted shall all be extracted by terrified amateurs. The musical singer attends a series of masses and fugues and ops. By Bach interwoven with Swan and Beethoven and classical Monday pops. The billiard sharp whom anyone catches his doom's extremely hard. He's made to dwell in a dungeon cell on a spot that's always barred, and there he plays extravagant matches in fitless finger stalls on a cloth untrue with a twisted cue and elliptical billiard balls. My object all sublime, I shall achieve in time, to let the punishment fit the crime, the punishment fit the crime, and make its prisoner pent, unwillingly represent a source of innocent merriment, of innocent merriment. The object all sublime, we will achieve in time, to let the punishment fit the crime, the punishment fit the crime.
Represent a source of innocent merriment, of innocent merriment.
in being permitted to welcome your majesty. I guess the object of your majesty's visit. Your wishes have been attended to. The execution has taken place.
Oh, you've had an execution, have you?
Yes, the coroner has just handed me his certificate.
I am the coroner.
And this is the certificate of his death. At Titipu, in the presence of the Lord Chancellor, Lord Chief Justice, Attorney General, Secretary of State for the Home Department, Lord Mayor, and groom of the second floor front.
They were all present, Your Majesty. I counted them myself.
Very good house. I wish I'd been in time for the performance.
A tough fellow he was too, your majesty. A man of gigantic strength. His struggles were terrific. It was really a remarkable scene.
Describe it.
Oh. The criminal cried as he dropped him down in a state of wild alarm. With a frightful, frantic, fearful frown, I bared my big right arm. I seized him by his little pigtail, and on his knees fell he. As he squirmed and struggled and gurgled and guggled, I drew my sneak-a-sneak. My sneak-a-sneak. Oh, never shall I forget the cry or the shriek that shrieked he, as I gnashed my teeth when from its sheath I drew my sneak-a-sneak.
He always tries to answer life, and every time he fails.
He shivered and shook as he gave the sign for the stroke he didn't deserve. When all of a sudden his eye met mine, and it seemed to brace his nerve. For he nodded his head and kissed his hand, and he whistled an eddy as the saber true cut cleanly through his cervical vertebrae. His vertebrae. When a man's afraid, a beautiful maid is a cheering sight to see. And it's oh, I'm glad that moment said was stood by side of me.
Though you'd have said that head was dead, for its owner dead was he. It stood on its neck with a smile well-bred, and bowed 3 times to me. It was none of your impudent offhand nods, but as humble as could be. For it clearly knew the deference due to a man of a pedigree. Of a pedigree. And its oh, I vow, this deathly vow was a touching sight to see. Though trunkless yet, it couldn't forget the deference due to me.
And in his case it all took place exactly as he said. Exactly as he said.
All this is very interesting, and I should like to have seen it. But we came about a totally different matter. A year ago, my son, the heir to the throne of Japan, bolted from our imperial court.
Indeed. Had he any reason to be dissatisfied with his position?
None whatever. On the contrary, I was going to marry him, yet he fled.
I am surprised that he should have fled from one so lovely.
That's not true.
No.
You hold that I'm not beautiful because my face is plain, but you know nothing. You are still unenlightened. Learn, then, that it is not in the face alone that beauty is to be sought. My face is unattractive.
It is.
But I have a left shoulder blade that is a miracle of loveliness. People come miles to see it. My right elbow has a fascination that few can resist.
Allow me.
It is on few Tuesdays and Fridays on presentation of visiting cards. As for my circulation, it is the largest in the world.
And yet he fled.
And is now masquerading in this town, disguised as a second trombone.
A second trombone?
Yes. Would it be troubling you too much if I asked you to produce him? He goes by the name of...
Nanky Poo.
Nanky Poo.
Nanky... Oh, it's quite easy. That is, it's rather difficult. In point of fact, he's gone abroad.
Gone abroad?
Oh!
What's the matter?
Oh, see here his name. Nanky Poo beheaded this morning. Oh, where shall I find another? Where shall I find another?
Oh.
Dear, dear, dear. This is very tiresome. My poor fellow, in your anxiety to carry out my wishes, you have beheaded the heir to the throne of Japan.
I beg to offer an unqualified apology.
I desire to associate myself with that expression of regret.
We really hadn't the least notion. Oh,
Of course you hadn't. How could you? Oh, come, my good fellow, don't distress yourself. It was no fault of yours. If a man of exalted rank chooses to disguise himself as a second trombone, oh, he must take the consequences. It really distresses me to see you take on so. I've no doubt he thoroughly deserved all he got.
We are infinitely obliged to your majesty.
Much obliged, Your Majesty.
Very much obliged, Your Majesty.
Obliged not a bit. Don't mention it. How could you tell?
Well, of course we couldn't tell who the gentleman really was.
It wasn't written on his forehead, you know.
It might have been on his pocket handkerchief. But Japanese don't use pocket handkerchiefs.
I forget the punishment for compassing the death of the heir apparent.
Punishment?
Yes, something lingering with boiling oil in it, I fancy. Oh, something of that sort. I think boiling oil occurs in it. Oh, but I'm not sure. I know it's something humorous, but lingering. With either boiling oil or melted lead. Come, don't fret. I'm not a bit angry.
Your Majesty will accept our assurance. We had no idea.
I knew nothing about it.
I wasn't there.
That's the pathetic part of it. Unfortunately, the fool of an actor says, encompassing the death of the heir apparent. Yes. There's not a word about a mistake, or not knowing, or having no notion, or not being there. Oh, there should be, of course, but there isn't. That's the slovenly way in which these acts are always drawn. However, cheer up, it'll be all right. I'll have it altered. Next session.
What's the good of that?
Now, let's see about your execution. Will after luncheon suit you? Can you wait till then?
Oh, yes, we can wait till then.
Then we'll make it after luncheon.
I don't want any lunch.
I'm really very sorry for you all. But it's an unjust world, and virtue is triumphant only in theatrical performances. See how the page there gives a lot, for A is happy, B is not, yet B is worthy, I dare say, of more prosperity than A.
Is B more worthy? I should say he's worth a great deal more than A.
Yet A is happy, oh so happy, laughing, ha ha, chopping, ha ha, nectar popping, ha ha ha, ever joyous, ever gay, happy and deserving A, ever joyous, ever gay, happy and deserving
If I were fortuned, which I'm not, B should enjoy his happy lot, and A should die in misery. That is assuming I am B.
But should A perish,
That should be, of course, assuming I am B.
B should be happy, oh so happy, laughing, ha ha, chopping, ha ha, nectar popping, ha ha ha, and then to die is he, wretched meritorious B, and then to die is he, wretched meritorious B.
Nice mess you've got us into, with your nodding head and the deference due to a man of pedigree.
Merely corroborative detail intended to give artistic verisimilitude to an otherwise bold and unconvincing narrative.
Corroborative detail, indeed. Huh. Corroborative fiddlestick.
You're just as bad as he is with your cock-and-a-bull stories about catching his eye and his whistling an air. But that's so like you. You must put in your all.
But how about your big right arm?
Yes, and your snicker-snee.
Well, never mind that now. There's only one thing to be done. Nanky Poo hasn't started yet. He must come to life again at once. Oh, here he comes. Oh, Nanky Poo, I've good news for you. Your reprieve.
Oh, but it's too late. I'm a dead man and I'm off for my honeymoon.
What nonsense. A terrible thing has just happened. It seems you're the son of the Mikado.
Yes, but that happened some time ago.
Is this a time for airy persiflage? Your father is here, and with Katisha.
My father? And with Katisha?
Yes, he wants you particularly.
So does she.
Oh, but he's married now.
But bless my heart, what's that got to do with it?
Katisha claims to be married, but I can't marry her because I'm married already. Consequently, she will insist on my execution. And if I'm executed, my wife will have to be buried alive.
You see our difficulty.
Yes, I don't know what's to be done.
There's one chance for you. If you can persuade Katisha to marry you, she will have no further claim on me. And in that case, I could come to life without any fear of being put to death.
I marry Katisha?
I really think it's the only course.
Oh, but my good girl, have you seen her? She's something appalling.
Ah, that's only her face. She has a right elbow, which people come miles to see.
I am told that her left heel is much admired by connoisseurs.
My good sir, I decline to pin my heart on any lady's left heel.
It comes to this. While Katisha is single, I prefer to be a disembodied spirit. When Katisha is married, existence be as welcome as the flowers in spring.
The flowers that bloom in the spring, tra-la, we promise of merry sunshine. As we merrily dance and we sing, tra-la, we welcome the hope that they bring, tra-la, of a summer of roses and wine, of a summer of roses and wine. And that's what we mean when we say that a thing is welcome as flowers that bloom in the spring. Tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la, the flowers that bloom in the spring. Tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la.
The flowers that bloom in the spring, tra-la, have nothing to do with the case. I've got to take under my wing, tra-la, a most unattractive old thing, tra-la, with a caricature of a face, with a caricature of a face. And that's what I mean when I say or I sing. Oh, bother the flowers that bloom in the spring, tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la, oh, bother the flowers of spring. Tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la.
The miscreant who robbed me of my love! But vengeance pursues. They are heating the cauldron.
Oh, Katisha, behold, a suppliant at your feet. Katisha, mercy.
Mercy! Have you mercy on him? See here, you have slain my love. He did not love me, but he would have loved me in time. I am an acquired taste. Only the educated palate can appreciate me. I was educating his palate when he left me. Well, he is dead. And where shall I find another? It takes years to train a man to love me. Am I to go through the weary round again, and at the same time implore mercy for you who robbed me of my prey? I mean, my pupil. Just as his education was on the point of completion. Oh, where shall I find another? Where shall I find another?
Here.
What?
Katisha! For years I have loved you with a white-hot passion that is slowly but surely consuming my very vitals. Shrink not from me. If there is aught of woman's mercy in your heart, turn not away from a lovesick suppliant whose every fibre thrills at your tiniest touch. True it is that under a poor mask of disgust I have endeavoured to conceal a passion whose inner fires abroil the soul within me. But the fire will not be smothered. It defies all attempts at extinction, and breaking forth all the more eagerly for long restraint, declares itself in words that will not be weighed, cannot be schooled, and should not be too severely criticised. Cat. Oh, Katisha, I dare not hope for your love, but I will not live without it. Darling!
You, whose hands still reek with the blood of my betrothed, dare to address words of passion to the woman you have so foully wronged?
I do. Accept my love, or I perish on the spot!
Oh, go to! Who knows so well as I that no one ever yet died of a broken heart?
You know not what you say. Listen. On a tree by a river, a little tomtit sang willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. And I said to him, Dicky bird, why do you sit singing willow, tit, willow, tit, willow? Is it weakness of intellect, birdie, I cried, or a rather tough worm in your little inside? With a shake of his poor little head, he replied, Oh, willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. He slapped at his chest as he sat on that bough, singing willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. And a cold perspiration bespangled his brow. Oh, willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. He sobbed and he sighed, and a gurgle he gave. Then he plunged himself into the billowy wave. And an echo arose from the suicide's grave. Oh, willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. Now I feel just as sure as I'm sure that my name isn't Willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. That was blighted affection that made him exclaim, Oh, willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. And if you remain callous and obdurate, I shall perish as he did, and you will know why, though I probably shall not exclaim as I die. Oh, willow, tit, willow, tit, willow.
Did he really die of love?
He really did.
All on account of a cruel little hen.
Yes.
Poor little chap.
It's an affecting tale, and quite true. I knew the bird intimately.
Did you? He must have been very fond of her.
His devotion was something extraordinary.
Poor little chap. And if I refuse you, will you go and do the same?
At once.
Oh, no, you because I'm just a little teeny weeny wee bit bloodthirsty, will you?
Thank you. Katisha, is there not beauty even in bloodthirstiness?
My idea exactly. There is beauty in the bend of the blast. There is grandeur in the growling of a gale. There is eloquent outpouring when the lion is a-roaring and the tiger is a-lashing of his tail.
Yes, I like to see a tiger from the Congo or the Niger, and especially when lashing of his tail.
Volcanoes have a splendor that is grim, and earthquakes when it terrified the domes. But to him who's scientific, there is nothing as terrific in the falling of a flight of thunderbolts.
Yes, in spite of all my meekness, if I have a little weakness, it's a passion for a flight of thunderbolts. If that is so, sing derry down derry, it's evident very odd taste so one. Away we'll go and merrily marry no tardily tarry till day is done. There is beauty in extreme old age. Do you fancy you are elderly enough? Information I'm requesting on a subject interesting as a maiden all the better when 'tis tough.
Throughout this wide dominion, it's the general opinion that she lasts a good deal longer when she's tough.
Are you old enough to marry, do you think? Won't you wait until you're 80 in the shade? There's a fascination frantic in a ruin that's romantic. Do you think you are sufficiently decayed?
To the matter that you mentioned, I have given some attention, and I think I am sufficiently decayed.
If that is so, sing derry down derry, it's evident very odd taste are one. Away we'll go and merrily marry no tardily tarry till day is done. If that is so, sing derry down derry, it's evident very odd taste are one. Away we'll go and merrily marry no tardily tarry till day is done. Sing derry down derry, we'll merrily marry no tardily tarry till day is done.
We've had a capital lunch and we're quite ready. Have all the painful preparations been made?
Your Majesty, all is prepared.
Then produce the unfortunate gentleman and his two well-meaning but misguided accomplices.
Mercy for Coco, mercy for Pitty Sing, mercy even for Pooh Bah.
I beg your pardon. I don't think I quite caught that remark.
Mercy even for Pooh Bah.
Mercy, my husband that was to have been is dead, and I have just married this miserable object.
You've not been long about it.
No, we were married before the registrar.
I am the registrar.
I see. But my difficulty is that as you have slain the heir apparent...
The heir apparent is not slain.
Bless my heart, my son.
And your daughter-in-law, elected.
Oh, traitor! You have deceived me. Oh.
Yes, you are entitled to a little explanation, but I think you'll give it better whole than in pieces.
Oh, Your Majesty, it's like this. It's quite true that I stated that I had killed Nanki Poo.
Yes, with most affecting particulars.
Merely corroborative detail intended to give artistic verisimilitude to an otherwise bold and unconvincing narrative.
It's like this. When Your Majesty says, let a thing be done, that thing is as good as done. Practically it is done, because Your Majesty's will is law. Your Majesty says, kill the gentleman. Well, the gentleman is told off to be killed. Consequently, that gentleman is as good as dead. Practically, he is dead. Well, if he is dead, why not say so?
I see. And nothing could possibly be more satisfactory.
Look he's gone and married Yum Yum. Your anger be weary, for all will be merry. I think you had better succumb and join our expressions of glee.
On this subject I pray you be dumb. Your notions, though many, are not worth a penny. The word for your guidance is mum. You've a very good bargain in me.
On this subject we pray you be dumb. We think you had better succumb. Why there are many who wait for a penny, who wait for a penny. And all the fishes and seas, and all the fishes and seas, and all the fishes and seas, and all the fishes and seas.
The threatened cloud has passed away. What though the night may come too soon?
With evening of afternoon.
Then let the dawn the joy of us with laughing song and merry dance. Then let the throng our joy advance with laughing song and merry dance, with laughing song and merry dance, with laughing song.